Today's video is brought to you by ablmerch.com. You're able to get the hat I have on my head, plus a large selection of other hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, and more through the link in the description box below. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I come to you with a handful of questions. Just a few questions because I'm really kind of confused. I don't really know what's happening right now today in our country. I'm being told by all these high-level officials, governors, mayors, Anthony Fauci, Deborah Birx, that, hey, you got to put a mask on because if you don't, you're going to spread the virus. And if you spread the virus, you're selfish. You don't care about your grandmama, your granddaddy, your aunts, your uncles, and everybody else. You don't care about society in general. You want to have this whole pandemic continue on, and you want to have the economy sink. You want to have the whole world sink. That's what I'm being told, right? Okay, so when I go to Walmart, I got to put on the mask. I got to have my nose covered. I can't breathe. I don't have a small nose, obviously. I'm in about to suffocate, about to pass out. I'm breathing in my own CO2, all this, that, and the third, right? That's what I'm being told to do. That's what I'm being ordered to do all over the nation. You got statewide, indoor, citywide, countywide mask ordinances. When you go to a restaurant, you got to have the mask on as you enter the door. But when you sit down, you take it off and eat. It's like, how does it make any sense? If the virus is to spread through, particles and droplets, aren't you going to produce more particles and droplets from eating than you would just be walking into the restaurant and walking out? But different story, I digress. My whole point is that masks are being mandated all over the place. You got social distance. They're shutting down businesses. You can't go to a funeral. I'll talk about that in a minute. You can't go to school. You can't go to church. You can't go to sporting events. You can't do anything. However, these same people seem to turn a blind eye to all these so-called protests happening across the nation. I know most of you have already seen the clip about to play, but I'll go ahead and play it right now in case you haven't seen it, and also for a reminder. Now, this clip was taken a day or two ago in Chicago at the so-called Christopher Columbus protest. All right, they're against statue of Christopher Columbus, so they're out there having a dance party to protest. I'm not really sure how that makes any sense, but they're out there doing that. And this is crazy. How is this allowed, but I can't go to church, school, funeral, nothing like that? When I go to Walmart, I got to put a mask on, or Target or whatever. When I go to a restaurant, I got to put a mask on or I can't go at all. You got tables that are blocked off by police tape because they're not social distance enough. It's like, what's really going on? Now, the kickback from the far leftists, the hypocrites, the nut jobs, they'll say, oh, ABL, they're wearing masks. How many masks do you see out there? I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, maybe I'm blind, okay? I have on glasses, not just for fashion. I do have limited vision. I'm a nearsighted guy. So maybe my glasses aren't right. I have to get an update to my prescription perhaps. But from what I'm looking at on the screen, I don't see a bunch of masks being worn. As a matter of fact, I see some masks being worn like, I don't know, like neck coverings. They're trying to cover the Adam's apple, but different story. Anyway, they're not even covering their face at all. And if they are covering their face, you still got all kind of sweat and body stuff flying around, all kind of odors and trash and garbage and everything else. Okay. Then at the same time, they're engaging in violence. They're throwing things. I mean, are they washing their hands? Where are they using the bathroom? You get all kind of you have a petri dish out here in a so-called dance party. Okay. This is less sanitary than your average everyday nightclub. All right. They're outside sweating. They got all kind of things going on. This is a total mess. And it's the summertime, so it's hot. It's like 85 degrees at night. So I'm trying to figure out how that's acceptable, and that's not seen as a potential spreader of the virus, yet me going to a funeral is. Now, my uncle died recently. He was 88, so we kind of saw it coming, unfortunately, but he was 88 and he was in declining health. May he rest in peace, of course. My aunt, his wife, died a year before, last year, and I saw them in 2018 because I live in DC. I saw them in 2018 when I was up there for the Young Black Leadership Summit with Turning Point USA. After we went to the White House, I still had on my suit, and I went to my uncle's house to visit my aunt and my uncle because they were getting up there in age, and I knew that I might not have too much time left. So my aunt died the next year, and my uncle died 2 days after his birthday, which is on Juneteenth. I did a whole video about Juneteenth and how it was my uncle's birthday, my dad's birthday. But anyway, so my uncle passes away 2 days past his birthday. It took a long time for a funeral to happen because you're in DC. They got all these virus restrictions. And when the funeral did happen, I was not able to go because you have like a 10-person limit. All right. So I can't go to my uncle's funeral, and I can't go here. I can't go there. I can't do this. I can't do that. But you can have all these dance parties. You can go and do whatever you like out here in the world. It's crazy how these officials just do whatever they want and tell us that we can't. And speaking about officials, your man, Dr. Anthony Fauci, this guy went to the Nationals game and threw out the first pitch. You know, Major League Baseball become very political. They're talking about, oh, no, we're not really political. We just want to stand up for human rights, all this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, you bring out Anthony Fauci to throw the first pitch. I mean, how much more political can you get than having Anthony Fauci out there, okay? A polarizing figure, a guy who was seen as an opponent of Donald Trump within the White House. But anyway, this is a so-called infectious disease expert. He's a guy telling you how to wear a mask, why you should wear it, all this, that, and the third. Now, let's not forget, when this whole so-called pandemic or whatever you want to label it as started, Anthony Fauci got on TV and said that masks aren't really necessary. They might block a droplet or two. They might help a little bit, but you really shouldn't be wearing it. It's not really going to help you. That's generally what he said, right? Then he did a 180 and said, put your mask on, wear a mask, save a life, all this, that, and the third, all right? Meanwhile, at the press conferences, you can see Fauci with the mask on, digging his nose, you know, picking and flicking boogers, all kind of stuff. And then he goes to the Nationals game with his Washington Nationals baseball team mask on, throws the first pitch crazy, just like his virus advice was being crazy. And then you see him in the stands next to his wife and some other random guy. No social distancing. They like this close together. And Fauci has his mask on up under his chin. And then when he was asked about it, he gave an answer talking about, oh, well, I was dehydrated and I had to get a drink of water. I'm not really violating the mask, you know, all this and that, you know, making excuses. But he was not just seen at one time with the mask up under his chin. He also had it up under his nose, and like he had a mask in different parts of his face. It's like, sir, don't tell me that I got to wear my mask properly. I got to do this. I got to do that when you're not even doing it. Okay. So to anybody that might see me in Walmart, don't look at me crazy if I have a mask on or don't have a mask on. But if I do have it on and my whole nose is out, don't look at me crazy. All right. I got to be able to breathe. And like I've said before, I don't have a small nose. My nostrils got to be able to get maximum oxygen. I'm not trying to suffocate myself to go to Walmart and pick up some toothpaste and some boxers. You understand what I'm saying? So as I close, I want to say this. These people are ridiculous. I think that the mask ordinance is crazy. If you want to wear a mask, then go for it. If you feel like that's going to help you, that'll do whatever, all right, go for it. That's fine. If you want to self-isolate, that's fine too. But guess what? The rest of us should be able to live life as normal. All right. We got to be able to get back to work and school and everything else. You get kids that are missing out on development because they're not in school. All right. Aside from the education, which is very, very important, obviously, they are missing out on a social interaction with other kids. Things that you really can't get just by being at home or in the neighborhood. All right. That's very important. And the skills that they're going to learn now, especially if they're like young kids, like under third, fourth grade, you're talking about first, second, third. If they're young like that, they're going to need that early development because right now they're growing. All right. When you want to put a pause on in-school classes, the kids aren't going to put a pause on growing. They're going to continue to grow. They're going to continue to learn. And by having that block of school time missing, they're going to be at a disadvantage from other people. It's very simple. So we got to get back to it. We got to get back to the grind. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that these people are hypocrites? Those that say, you know, put a mask on even inside your house. You don't want to spread your virus. You don't want to pass it to your grandmama or your granddaddy, all this and that. but they won't even say a word about all these so-called BLM protests, really riots, insurrections, just a bunch of miscreants out here doing whatever they want to do. They don't say anything about them, being elbow to elbow, having dance parties, farting and everything else on each other. And then they won't talk about all the trash they leave. Okay, in Portland, Oregon, you got these morons trying to break open the federal buildings. They're leaving all types of bottled water and food and just human waste on the ground every single night. All right. So you might go from being worried about the virus from China to be worrying about the bubonic plague. You're going to attract rats out there with all that garbage on the ground every single night. These people, it's just crazy. They have this kind of this self-righteousness, this moral indignation. They want to try to tell us how to behave and what to do and how to do it when they themselves don't even behave normally. You understand? They want to have us live up to a very high standard more than they can actually meet. This is very typical of the left. Do as I say, but never as I do. Rules for thee, but not for me. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.